Hello everyone, my name is Twizt, I'm a 4300 player, and today we're going to be going over some soldier gameplay on Numbani defense. Now this is a pretty good defense that I had, and this is one of the best maps for soldier if you're actually going to play him. Now if you didn't know, soldier's not a very meta hero in a lot of senses of the word. He isn't really used in a lot of scenarios, but if you're playing him in comp, this is one of the best maps to do this, and if you are going to play it on another map, make sure it's a map with a lot of high ground. So I want to stay in this high ground because this gives me long sight lines. You can see I have complete sight lines over the entire point. If they dive up here like they're doing right now, I can easily deal that damage as well. So you'll see me as soon as they start poking up, I'm just going to deal damage to their Winston and just poke them back, make it uncomfortable for them to actually dive onto our team. So trying to aim for the headshots, right? Throw in a little bit of ults. I don't necessarily have to kill them here. I mean, right now I'm doing tons of value and doing tons of damage just by doing a lot of damage from like a decent distance. Now, this PHARAH is going to be a problem. She is going to play out of my sightlines mostly, which is very bad for me. But I want to note this actually is really important to note. So this Winston dives me, right? So a lot of soldiers would either try to kill him or, you know, maybe stay in that range of healing. But if you actually are sprinting away from a Winston, you are faster than him, and you will, if you're lucky, be able to get out of his range before he can do anything. This Winston's going to try and chase me, but I already have the range on him, and he literally just feeds, so I end up killing him there. Now, if you'll notice up here, my team's done a pretty good job, given we have this Mei, of keeping the point contested. So right now, this is actually a totally winnable fight, even though they actually had a very successful first engagement on us. So I'm going to take this high ground, right? I see their Widowmaker up top right. I can't really peek her for a long distance, so I'm going to want to provide cover fire. Their Mercy just goes AFK. There isn't a whole lot to say here. Their Mercy, I think, either is pistoling or just thought they won this already. I'm able to kill her pretty quickly, and I'm just trying to right now finish it off, right? I didn't really want to take that high ground because that makes me exposed to the Widowmaker. I know I have a nano coming in a second, and I have Visor, so I'm just going to try and get in range of my Ana so she can get the nano off of me, and we end up winning that fight because of the fact that I'm able to stall and pick off a few people. So there's a Lucio back there. He's going to pick off. That's a really good stagger for us. Yeah, we're going to want to take this high ground again. We want to respect this Widow's sightlines a little bit, right? Like, if I have my pulse rocket, I can kind of peek her and, like, deal some damage to her, but I don't want to stay in her sightlines for that long, because otherwise I will get punished. Putting down my E right here is pretty useful because of the fact that it's also healing our tanks. So if you can actually position yourself in a place where it's going to heal more than just yourself, that will not only build you ultimate a lot faster, but it will also just help your team a lot more. This is just a good prediction. They put a teleporter up there. I know that the Sim's going to go through it, so I just throw a rocket preemptively and it kills her. I'm trying to beat down this PHARAH, but because I have to reload and they have this big old thing come out, I'm going to just try and finish this off. This is kind of a chaotic fight. I'm going to try and contest the Widowmaker. Contesting a Widowmaker at this range is kind of anybody's fight. She obviously has a lot more against me at longer distances, like longer sightlines. So at this range, it's not necessarily a bad idea, but she is going to just SMG me with one body shot, and I'm pretty dead there. So there's not a whole lot I could have done differently there. This is definitely winnable because we have the Mei come out and we have the Winston come out, but we don't have a whole lot of follow-up coming back. So this is kind of a weird scenario. I'm doing a lot of damage. I'm close to Visor, but I need to make some decision making. Do I Visor here? The answer is no. And the reason why it's no is because, one, we lost our Ana. I mean, obviously you can tell both our supports are dead and buried on their way back from spawn about now. Winston dies, which is the person that was basically carrying this re-engagement, and once they put down this bubble, my Visor is not going to do anything. I had to either back out or just die, and I'm going to die because they commit their primal rage. So I have my Visor now. I want to try and get on a high ground to use it effectively. Visor's a lot better when you're able to look at several targets at once because it aims for you, obviously. That Widowmaker is kind of peeking me. It's a little scary, right? This is a terrifying thing if you're a soldier. This is not something you ever want to see. I need to basically immediately cover fire this because the only way that she's not going to kill me here is by either me spamming AED or something like that, or me providing cover fire so that it's uncomfortable for her to actually stay there. So this Winston's pretty much feeding. I mean, he just goes up there. They can't really contest me until the Widowmaker kills me, that's just a nice shot from her. But like, this is a really good example of what you're going to do a lot of the time on Soldier. A tank is going to come up. You're going to just spam him down, get him down really low. And then, yeah, that's like basically all that Soldier can do in this comp a lot of the time, is just to like completely melt tanks. So looking at my stats right now, this is not bad. I obviously have all gold medals, decent amount of healing on myself done. Deaths to limbs is not too bad, but we did have a lot of recontests on the first point, so that's a little understandable. Weapon accuracy, this is looking good. Generally on Soldier, on a lot of these heroes, if you have about 50% weapon accuracy, that's pretty good. That goes for any tracking heroes. Like if you have, you know, Tracer, 40% is considered really good. Soldier, you know, 40s, 50s, even high 30s can be considered relatively good. Just look out for stuff like that. You know, weapon accuracy can tell you whether, you know, your aim needs work or whether it's your positioning. That's sometimes a good thing to look at when you're trying to decide what you need to improve when it comes to your play. So I'm going to pop my ult to try and basically save our Ana, but they're going to just Primal Rage, and this is lost. I mean, we have a pick on their PHARAH, but they have a pick on our Ana. They have a Mercy. They pick me off. Our Winston is really carrying this game, like really hard. He's getting a lot of good picks, but it's not enough here. Their Widowmaker is able to pick up enough people. Their PHARAH outputs a good amount of damage. Here's a big problem, is that, so personally, I'm really good at tracking heroes. This goes for Soldier, Tracer, stuff like this. I'm not very good at Widowmaker or, you know, a lot of heroes like that. So when it comes to this matchup, there's not a whole lot I can do. If I switch to Widowmaker, they're going to kill me. I'm not going to be able to kill this PHARAH really easily. Soldier's really the best bet, unless I want to switch to a McCree, but McCree can also be a little iffy sometimes because, again, the Widow's going to have better range on you. So I'm not going to contest here because I see this as a lost fight. If we go in there, we're just going to feed ultimate charge and maybe contest for like, you know, 2 seconds. It's not really worth it. It's a really good hook from our Hog. Again, I'm just dealing damage to their tanks, making it really uncomfortable for them to be where they want to be. Now, generally, you want to be on a high ground. This is obviously not the best position for me to be in, but based off of where their team is positioned right now, there's not really many other places I could go. Maybe back in this corner, farther back. Once they're around this corner, I can take this high ground or this high ground up top here, or even maybe flank behind them if I want to be really dashing. But right now, there's not a whole lot of places I can be. But I want to stay, you know, behind my team. I want to be in my team's backline if I'm not in theirs. So I'm either in their team's backline like this, where I'm looking behind them to see if there's anybody being picked off by themselves, or I'm in my team's backline because I can still deal just as much damage as I need to from this distance. So they call there's somebody up here. I'm going to try and sneak up on them. I almost kill them, but it's not worth me chasing because there could be sim turrets, obviously. So I'm going to take this high ground. Like I said, this is not a bad plot. I have my tactical visor. I see that they're starting to push up. I can pop my tactical visor now, pick off them, but they're going to just pop their ultimate, and that's basically a direct counter to mine. If they're going to pop sound barrier, there's not a whole lot I can do in the terms of a tactical visor, but it did, you know, use that. So looking at just this as a player minus a soldier, counting their ults right now, they use sound barriers, barrage, so they use barrage, so they use primal as well. So that's also really good. That's 3 ults from them. This barrage was totally unnecessary. Let me see if they used Valk or not. No, they did not use Valk. So this is pretty good for us. We got a decent amount of ults, and I really only used mine. So that's pretty good for us. So our Hog gets a good pick on their Winston off the bat. I need to get on the other side of this. I cannot do anything from where I was positioned because of that wall. And I'm trying to pressure out this Widowmaker because she's really the biggest win condition their team has right now. If she manages to pop off because no one's looking at her, then we can lose a lot faster. So I'm going to move off that high ground. I'm going to try and back up a lot more. I'm looking for this PHARAH. I know that she's in the sky, right? I'm trying to figure out where she's positioning herself. I see the Widowmaker on the high ground. Immediately, I'm trying to focus her. Target focus is a big thing. So on Soldier, your target focus should be first anything in the air that anybody else, like, so if there's a PHARAH, right? So PHARAH should be pretty far up there. excuse the pun, she's pretty far up there on your target focus. Widowmakers are also good for you to at least provide cover fire. Again, if you don't kill her, that's not bad, but if she's not hitting a lot of shots, you can provide cover fire to keep her out of areas that are really important. Obviously, big tanks, if you're on a high ground, tanks can be a really good thing to build your ult off of because a lot of them really won't want to dive you. I mean, as someone who plays a lot of tanks in GM, if I'm on Winston or if I'm on Diva, diving a soldier is a difficult thing to do because if the soldier has better aim than you, or if he has his healing pad down, it's very hard to kill him and it's a very risky dive. So I'm going to back up because I see the PHARAHs in the sky. I don't want to be directly under the PHARAH. I'm looking for her. I know she's off to the side. I knew she had that. So obviously I'm looking for this. So this is where you need to have good headphones, right? I hear her off to the left and I say that you can literally look at me. I'm like, I know someone's over there. See it, shoot her a few times, kill her like almost instantly. Providing cover fire on the Widowmaker. Again, not even really killing her, just making it so she can't peek there anymore. Yeah. So I have my ult. I'm going to flank with this one. Now, a flank visor is risky, but we picked off their main support, and they don't really have anything that's going to contest me back here. Let's look at this really quick. So one thing you might want to do on soldier, this has actually probably saved me a lot, is you'll notice that I'm pressing my ultimate right here when I have no sight lines, and that's because by the time that it's actually going to let me shoot, I'll be in sight lines. So that's going to save you a lot of time because if I had, for instance, let's say I'd pressed my ultimate right here, like right now, that would have maybe had time to turn around and kill me. Instead, she didn't really even have time to think. I'm going to just shoot over here, wait for the Ryan to drop his shield, pick off the Lucio. Boom, that's 2 people right then and there. 3 because I killed the Sim. And yeah, that was a really good play for me. That's me missing a lot of shots. Cover firing the Widowmaker really quick. Gonna take this high ground in case they're trying to flank up here. I see the wall, right? So that was not a good wall because it didn't really help their team at all. It didn't go through the payload at all. And they're not even gonna be able to touch. So that's very good for us, obviously. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments down below. This has been Twizt with GameLeap, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.